I've taken these 10 cybersecurity and IT certifications. That is hours and hours of study. And in this video, I'm going to give you the real ROI on each of these certifications. No fluff, which of these certifications are actually going to help you land a job or progress in your career. I spent close to 4 years working in cybersecurity roles. I'm going to run through these 4 things. Number 1, what did I learn from this certification? Number 2, what was the career impact? Did it help me in my journey? Did I progress? Etc. Number 3, I'm going to give each certification an ROI score. And number 4, finally, I'll tell you if I would recommend this certification for you or not. Big shout out and credit to Jake's Tech for this video I did. So I'm going to go in order of when I took these certifications. Number 1, the CompTIA A+. The CompTIA A+ is a foundational IT certification. It's a certification that gives you everything you need to know to be an IT support engineer or help desk engineer. And for me, it was the CompTIA A+ that gave me that real introduction to IT. I had a university degree at the time that actually introduced me to working with computers, helped me to understand technology like hardware and software. And honestly, without this certification, I would never have had that smooth introduction into tech. So for me, the career impact was a strong and solid foundation in IT, understanding hardware and software, understanding the foundations of network, and so much more. Now, before I give the ROI score, there are some pros and cons to CompTIA A+. Number 1, it is expensive, and there are 2 exams to pay for. It's around $250 per exam. So to take both of the CompTIA A+ exams and get the certification, it costs around $500, which is not on the cheaper side. So in 2026, would I recommend the CompTIA A+? Probably not. And I say this because there are other alternatives that can help you get the same knowledge for much cheaper. Things like the Google IT Support Certificate teach you very similar things and is much cheaper. So on a scale of 1 to 10, the ROI score for the CompTIA A+, I will give it a 4 out of 10 because it is too expensive, and I'm giving it a 4 out of 10 because of that price. Moving on, the AZ900. Now the AZ900 taught me about the cloud and Microsoft Azure in particular. This gave me my introduction to cloud technology, and at the time it genuinely helped me to get my first cloud role. So the career impact of AZ900 was great at the time. Now, not so much. If cloud and Microsoft Azure specifically is your interest and you haven't had an introduction to the cloud, the AZ900 is the best place to start. However, in 2026, it's not really going to impress employers having it on your CV. These exams are not difficult to pass, and it doesn't cover any practical skills. It only gives you that theory. So you're not really impressing anyone by getting this certification, but it can help you to get an introduction to the technology. So for this ROI score, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It is not super expensive compared to other certs, just around $99. So I would recommend it for people trying to get that introduction, but I wouldn't recommend it as a way to boost your portfolio and CV in 2026. Number 3, the AZ104. Now, AZ104 gave me the actual practical knowledge of Azure administration and cloud administration in general. I gained a deeper understanding of how Microsoft Azure worked, and when I got the certification, I was working in an Azure administrator role at the time. So not only did it teach me a lot about Microsoft Azure and the tools and services that I would be using, it also aligned well with my career progression. When I got this cert, I worked at an MSP that really valued certifications. So it gave me a real boost, and shortly after getting this certification, I did receive a healthy raise. AZ104 is not an easy certification to pass, and it is certainly valued by employers. It's an associate level rather than the fundamental level certs like the AZ900. And so the ROI score for AZ104, I would give it an 8 out of 10. But more specifically, if you're going for cloud and if you're going for Microsoft Azure. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. Number 4, the SC900. Now this is essentially your introduction to Microsoft security. It taught me a little bit about some common security terms, things like defense in depth, things like zero trust. It was the first cert that gave me that understanding of cybersecurity, but mainly in the context of Microsoft and Microsoft Azure. Career impact for me was very little. I was in a cybersecurity role at the time. It had no career impact whatsoever. It took me a few days to study for, helped me learn a thing or two, and the ROI for this one will probably be 2.5 out of 10. Rather than going for fundamental cybersecurity certs like this, that would have a much higher return on investment. However, if you're looking to get an introduction to Microsoft security, is probably the one for you. Now, the ISC2 CC is a foundational cybersecurity certification. It's relatively broad and covers cybersecurity as a whole. Now, this type of certification I would recommend for people trying to get their first roles in cybersecurity, but it is not the one thing that's going to get you that role. It will give you that initial understanding of the cybersecurity landscape, and if you're just starting in cybersecurity, it's probably one of those that you should start with. Right now, doing the courses for the ISC2 Certified in Cybersecurity, or CC, is completely free. You can take the course for free, you can write the exam for free, and then you just have to pay for the certification badge once you pass the exam, which you don't really have to do. You can really just say that I have taken and passed the ISC2 CC without having that badge. And to get that badge, it's only about $50. So in comparison to most certifications out there, this is super cheap. So I would recommend it for cybersecurity beginners all the way. The ROI score for the ISC2 CC, I'm going to give it a 7 over 10. It might not help with your career, but it will help if you're getting that introduction to cybersecurity. Number 6, GRC Mastery. GRC Mastery is a course and certification created by Unix Guy, who's one of the big YouTubers in the cybersecurity space. Now, GRC Mastery was a really good course and certification for me. It was quite a comprehensive program. It covered a lot of the things you need to know for a career in cybersecurity, but also focused on GRC. So a lot of these other certifications were really broad. It is a foundational certification covering cybersecurity as a whole. This had more of a focus, which was really good. GRC also focused on practical skills. Unfortunately, there are a lot of certs out there that are focusing on the theory, and there are no practical skills whatsoever in loads of these certs. So certs that focus on practical skills already gives you that green flag. So this certain course is moderate in terms of its affordability. However, there are so many success stories from people taking the GRC Mastery course and securing jobs in GRC or in other cybersecurity areas. Also included with GRC Mastery is ISO 27001 Lead Auditor Training and Certification, which adds additional value and makes this certification and training really worthwhile. The ROI score for GRC Mastery is an 8 out of 10. Let's move on. The AI 900. AI 900 is another Microsoft certification at the fundamental level. It has a focus on AI foundations, mainly covering AI services in the Microsoft Azure platform. AI 900 is not a difficult exam. The reason I took the AI 900 was, of course, to really understand AI and generative AI with everything that's going on in the world right now. And it did give me that fundamental understanding. I also wanted to get the certification so that I could put something AI related on my CV. And I haven't really seen an incredible impact of that. I've not heard much from recruiters on the AI 900 as a cert, but it was a good introduction and great for understanding AI in the Microsoft stack. I'm not going to give AI 900 a great score because it's not really specialized and it's not practical at all. That being said, it's not incredibly expensive, so I'll give it a 3.5. Then we have the SC200. Now the SC200 is a more specialized certification in the Microsoft security space. It focuses on the role of a SOC analyst or a cloud security engineer. It covers things like Microsoft Sentinel and using the platform, using things like KQL query to monitor logs and analyze logs, etc. It covers Microsoft Defender for Cloud and Microsoft Defender XDR. Now, these tools are quite popular when it comes to roles in the Microsoft cloud security space. And cloud security is an area that is incredibly valuable in the job market today. So I will say the SC900 goes deep in these tools. It is still somewhat theoretical and you need only a limited amount of the practical skills to pass the exam. However, it does cover them in depth and is a difficult exam to pass. If you checked out my other videos on this channel, I have failed my first attempt at the SC200 and I haven't retaken it yet. Don't worry, I'm going to be retaking it real soon, so stay tuned. Now for the SC200, I'm going to be giving this an ROI score of 9 out of 10. But I will say this, if you're taking the SC200, make sure you also take opportunities to play around with the tools that you're learning on this certification. If you do so, it will be incredibly valuable for your career and could definitely help you secure roles in the Microsoft cloud security space. Let's move on. Number 9, Security Plus. I've spoken about the CompTIA Security Plus at length. This certification is globally recognized, vendor neutral, and entry level. It validates your foundational cybersecurity skills, whether it's protecting networks, protecting systems, and just protecting data and threats. It covers a lot of benchmarks and security concepts, and there are loads of acronyms in this certification. The reason Security Plus is valuable is not just because of what it teaches you in the courses and what you need to learn to pass a certification. It is also because of the recognition of the cert. So when you're taking a certification, there are two reasons you should be taking it. You're either taking it for what you're going to learn, whether that's practical stuff, whether that is to get a foundational understanding, whether that is to dive deeper into specific technologies, or you're taking that certification for the recognition that it brings to your CV. Certs like the CompTIA Security Plus are still mentioned on job descriptions to this day. For some roles, it's even a requirement to get that role or to even get an interview. It is not incredibly practical, although there are PBQs in there, so it is relatively practical compared to others. It is the recognition of Security Plus that gives it that boost. That being said, the certification is quite expensive. It cost about $425, so I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Finally, let's move on to the Network Plus. Now, I took Network Plus recently to understand networking a little bit better. This was a difficult exam for me, and if you see my video of where I've taken it, you'll know that this exam was no joke. It taught me a lot about networking. It helped me to really understand what I was doing with networking in the roles I've worked on previously. I've worked with networks all my career, but had never done any training or certification on it. So it did validate my knowledge a lot with the things I was working on. In terms of career impact for the Network Plus, I've heard many say it has had an impact on their career. However, things like the CCNA have been a much better option for career progression than the Network Plus certification. So if I was doing it all again and I was choosing which certification to go for, I would go for the CCNA over the CompTIA Network Plus. The ROI score for the Network Plus is going to be a 5 over 10. And based on my discussions with people who have taken the CCNA, I'd give the CCNA an 8 out of 10. But I haven't taken the CCNA just yet. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've been able to learn a lot and really understand the ROI on each of these 10 certifications. In the comment section, mention which of these certifications you're planning to take or have taken already, and the return on investment that you've had from these certs. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.